Good morning, Mr. and Mrs. America, and all the ships at sea, and all the ears within the sound of my voice. It's Monday morning, it's 8 o'clock, it's the 28th day of February 2022. It's 50 degrees and sunny here in my small island off the coast of Costa Rica, because remember, I don't live in Ventura, with a cold, icy wind blowing through. And of course, we've survived another weekend despite what's going on with Ragnarok in the European nations. So it's a better way to celebrate surviving another weekend than taking a look at what's going on in the tabletop role-playing news, because it is I, your guide to all the tabletop role-playing news, weather, sports, general internet nonsense, and pointless controversies. Okay. Awful Cheerful Engine is now here, and it has released its first of many expansions, a brand new expansion called Domes of Thunder, based upon popular post-apocalyptic action adventures. They're still publishing stuff for this product. We talked about this product for a while in the past. It's out. It's spewing out stuff. We haven't heard anything positive or negative about it, but it's out there. There is a release date now for the Tales of Exandria Dragon Prince RPG, based on the popular Netflix animated series. Is scheduled for March, so pretty soon. Crucible 7 has announced that they are going to be doing a Doctor Who role-playing game using 5e. It's called Doctors and Daleks, which is a Doctors, not the Doctor, but Doctors and Daleks. So that sounds like a soap opera. Tonight on Doctors and Daleks, Mary Sue discovers the true father of her child. And it's not who you think. Dun, dun, dun. So, yeah, there's a 5e adaptation coming out for the Doctor Who setting from Crucible 7. And I don't know, can something like Doctor Who be converted to 5e? Actually, considering how over the top and goofy sometimes Doctor Who can get, maybe, but I don't know. Maybe not. That one seems weird. In other news, we have the statistical information for Kickstarter for the past year, and it should come to no surprise that there are more tabletop role-playing projects being kickstarted in 2021 than there were in 2020. There are also more tabletop role-playing projects being kickstarted in 2021 than there were in 2009. The exact numbers are unknown, but they guesstimate that about 3,000 of the projects that were up on Kickstarter in 2021 alone were somehow related or indirectly related to tabletop role-playing game. And that doesn't also, remember, that includes things like figures and models and pictures and just anything that would have the tabletop role-playing game subtitle onto its search. So not all of those are print things like, D&D. They're figures. Which seems, 3,000? Almost 4,000. If they're counting everything, I would think it would be higher. So who knows what they are or are not counting. Maybe I was incorrect. Maybe they're just... It doesn't say. No, it does say that it included projects, not just print. So I would say, buy my set of figures is a project, which means I would think it'd be more. But maybe, it probably has something to do with the way they're posted, because, a map for Dungeons and Dragons would be posted on Kickstarter as a Dungeons and Dragons project, as opposed to a 5e project, as opposed to suitable for all tabletop role-playing games, like figures. So, 4,000 still seems a little small, but yeah, I don't know. Let's just ignore the numbers and just say that a lot of more stuff was kickstarted this year than it was last year, and a lot of that stuff was tabletop role-playing game product. Because, duh. And speaking of growth of the industry, Roll20 has announced that their user base is about 10 million, which means the user base has doubled since the last time they counted this number, which was in early March. What happened in early March? of 2 years ago. Was there an event, maybe, Roll20, that caused a lot of people to suddenly be stuck at home and looking for ways to entertain themselves online? Could that be why I'm sure it's a coincidence, Roll20, that the fact your numbers doubled between March of 2020 and now has nothing to do with the fact that 99% of the population of the planet were stuck at home for almost a year, doing nothing but playing games online. Yeah, just surely coincidence. Anyway, congratulations, Roll20, for having, at this point in time, 10 million subs. That doesn't mean all 10 million people are online or all 10 million people are playing D&D. Just that right, whenever they made this, whenever the bot searched the membership roster, they had 10 million people. Now, I have a Roll20 account, but I haven't used it in 2 years. I still count as the 10 million. So, how many of those 10 million are actually using it on a daily basis? There's no way to tell. Ed Greenwood has released a Forgotten Realms sourcebook for Land of the Red Wizards. That's the Red Wizards of Thays. If you followed my vlog long enough, you know the Red Wizards of Thays are my favorite bad guys of the Forgotten Realms. I just love Zastam. I love the idea of the Red Wizards of Thays. Just sort of this oligarch run by wizards trying to sort of take over the world, but not really. I even wrote the theme song to the Red Wizards of Thay when we were way back when we were playing an all Red Wizards game. It's based on the old Hulk Hogan theme. Maybe for 1,000 subs, I'll sing it. Hey, PaizoCon's coming up. And it's time to celebrate the 20th anniversary of Paizo. 20 years? Has it really been 20 years? It doesn't feel like 20 years, but yeah, I guess it has. Because we're going all the way back to the very first thing they published, not Pathfinder. So it's 20 years since the very first thing they published. So if you are a fan of Paizo and want to head on over to PaizoCon, it looks like it's taking place in Seattle, Washington. And there will be events including both Pathfinder Society, Starfinder Society, a lot of Paizo-related stuff, and a lot of other stuff. They're looking for both, paid and unpaid individuals. So, yeah, if you're in the Seattle area and want to support Paizo and check out what's new in Paizo stuff, PaizoCon 2022. I'm sure that it doesn't say, but I assume there will also be an online aspect to it. But yeah, feels like they're going way more brick and mortar for this year than some of the other conventions. But then they're also saying that they're going to have limited space for the number of attendees, which makes me think that, I guess, they'll still do something digital. I don't know if they'll do the pop-up thing. So far, it seems like Gencon is the only one experimenting with the pop-up. We don't have a lot of, we talked about the pop-up last week. Still don't have a lot of information on how much the pop-ups were successful when Gen Con tried them last year. We just know they're going to be trying them again. And having nothing to do with Gen Con, other than, vaguely related to incredibly large things, WizKids has announced several new pre-painted miniatures this week, which is, not unusual. They announce new pre-painted miniatures almost every week. But we have one coming out that is coming in June, and it is Balagos, the Ancient Red Dragon. I don't know who Balagos is. He must be from a module or an adventure. This is a $400 figure. It is 2 feet long and almost 2 feet tall. From wingtip to wingtip, 2 feet long, and it's almost 2 feet tall. If you're trying to figure out exactly how tall it is, it's taller than a soda can. 2 feet long and almost 2 feet tall. Let's just say that's a shoe, about a length of an average human full-grown male shoe. The foot, 2 feet, right? So, or that's a small dog. 2 feet by 2 feet. That's a Chihuahua. 2 feet by 2 feet. That's a loaf of bread. I mean, that's huge. It's a huge fucking figure. I don't know how much it weighs, but I'm gonna assume it weighs a lot. Would you ever spend $400 for a figure? And where would you keep it when you weren't using it? Because remember, it's a 2 foot by 2 foot basic cube. That's a loaf of bread. But that's not all. We also have a figure coming out for Unigog, and that was going to be $80. And we have another aspect of Tiamat coming out. That's coming out in May for $130. And there's going to be some vinyl figures coming out based upon the first edition Monster Manual. They're going to be doing that with Kid Robot, so it sounds these will be sort of like collectible and similar in design to Funko Pops. So sort of a cutie, quasi, Funko Pop look for some of the iconic stuff from first edition. So like a Beholder, Displacer Beast, Roper, Rust Monster, Zorn, stuff like that. That should be fun. Those are coming out in August. It looks like they're going to be randomized to spear the collectability, but we don't have prices yet. Artisolian Games has announced it's publishing a deal with Darker Hue Studios to distribute Haunted West by Chris Spivey. This is a post-Civil War Weird West type game similar to Deadlands. Looks like it's a lot similar to Deadlands by the art. So it's dark, and it's been doing through Altasorian. So it was kick-funded. We could have a 800 page rule book by October. It was kickstarted successfully, 800 page rule book released directly from them, but now they're going to do it through Artisolian's publishing. 800 page rule book for a game about the Weird West. Okay, hold on. Let me just compare that to my copy of Savage Worlds, which is, of course, the game that was based upon Deadlands. Now, I don't have the Deadlands Savage Worlds book, and I know it's pretty thick, but 800 pages. Meanwhile, just the core rules that I have for Savage Worlds, chalking in at just under 100 pages. 800 pages. 800 pages. That's a George R.R. Martin printed novel. That's thick. That's a thick rule book. 800 pages. Just wow. I mean, God love you for being able to be that creative, Mr. Spivey, that you were able to write 800 pages of Weird West. I look forward to seeing if it's worth it. Black Isle Studios announced the original Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance will receive a remaster and make a debut on PC. Yay! Baldur's Gate back. We could look for that sometime in later this year, probably close to Christmas. No bundles this week, so let's check out what's going on with Bundle of Holding. Bundle of Holding this week has 1, 2, 3, 4, it looks like. We have the Hellfrost Essentials still. This is now this is a Savage World setting that came out a while back. Now we have everything you need to do a campaign set in the Hellfrost world from Triple Ace Games. The starter collection is $13. Includes the player's manual, the arcane and clerical magic book, the Companion of the World and Villains. The bonus collection includes the Beastery, the Gazetteer, which is maps, more encounters, more monster stuff like that. We have, of course, from EN Publishing, the Worlds of 2000 AD. That's Judge Dredd, Rogue Trooper, stuff like that. The long-running Judge Dredd tabletop role-playing game license is coming to an end, so this is your very last chance to pick it up. If you haven't yet and you're a fan of the world of Judge Dredd, $8 gets you the Judge Dredd and 2000 AD rulebook, plus the rulebook for Strontium Dog and Rogue Trooper, and a GM screen. And then the add-on gets you adventures for Judge Dredd, Rogue Trooper, and Strontium Dog. Speaking of Hellfrost, there's another one. This is the companion to Hellfrost. Again, this is the Savage Worlds fantasy game. For $18, you get a huge city book collection and a huge collection of adventures set for the Savage World Fantasy Hellfrost campaign. And then for the bonus collection, you get more maps and managements and stuff like that. So just if you ever wanted to set a Savage World fantasy campaign in the world of Herofrost between the two campaigns here that Humble Bundle of Holdings is doing, yeah, that's a lot. We have a Fiasco bundle. We have a starter collection of Fiasco and 4 of the games that were made for Fiasco for $13. And then we have the bonus collection which features 4 more expansions and 4 more games. Fiasco, of course, the role-playing tabletop storytelling game about poor impulse control. So think Reservoir Dogs or just any heist movie that has gone bad. Fiasco is commonly considered one of the best games to use if you want to introduce people to role-playing, if they're not just already, just locked into learning how to play D&D. But if somebody comes to you and says, I want to learn how to role-play, a lot of people recommend starting with Fiasco. And then we have from Porcupine Publishing, a tabletop historical fantasy role-playing game called Elephant and Macaw. Set in 16th century Brazil, using a Witcher style of monster hunting theme. Elephant and Macaw is $15 and contains the entire tabletop role-playing game, plus 3 expansions. Porcupine Publishing's Elephant and Macaw. Set in 16th century Brazil, but think 16th century Brazil if it was the world of The Witcher. It's extremely specific, but okay. I've never heard of this, so I guess this is a brand new something that's the Bundle of Holding is trying to promote. So let's see. It could be, a really fun setting. Or not. I don't know. It seems very, very specific. Anything else going on in the world of tabletop role-playing game? The Kickstarter for Everyday Heroes, the D20 Modern redo that Jeff Scott and Dave Scott and Jeff Grubb are doing. The Kickstarter should be starting pretty soon. This takes the old 3.5 OSR OGL D20 Modern rules and brings them into the 5e universe, but still maintaining the same idea of, one class based upon each stat. And just, I never liked that idea about D20 Modern. The strong, the charismatic, your classes were your stats. And then there were, prestige classes. Maybe they'll do a better bet with 5th. Modern day role-playing, 5th could do modern day role-playing, I think, pretty good. We have another useless number here. According to the statistics, the number of RPG streaming products have increased, in that there's way more RPG streaming products on YouTube and Google Play and all those other than there were a year ago or 4 years ago. It's as if something happened that forced people to all stay at home, and a whole bunch of people are like, hey, this Critical Role thing's making money and we're all stuck at home. Maybe we should try the same thing. So yeah, surprise, the number of streaming tabletop role-playing game projects, productions online have increased since this time last year. In other no-duh news, according to the latest pointless facts, because that seems to be the theme of today, Wizards of the Coast is technically now making more money for Hasbro in the United States than Hasbro makes for Hasbro in the United States, being as a large percentage of the money that Hasbro made over the past 2 years has been directly or indirectly related to Magic the Gathering or Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. Gee, it's as if there was an event that caused us all to be stuck at home during the times that you did this numbers, and therefore more people were playing your products than, say, 3 years ago or now, where now those numbers are dwindling because, of course, now people are outside again. And of course, this sort of exploded, bloated number of Wizards of the Coast United States making more money for Hasbro than Hasbro United States is making is the reason why now people are saying, well, Wizards of the Coast should spin off and become its own thing separate from Hasbro. So Hasbro's money is Hasbro's, Wizards of the Coast's money is Wizards of the Coast. Stockholders of Wizards of the Coast will be able to take advantage of that. Stockholders in Hasbro, oh well. Which on paper, of course, makes sense, except, of course, there's two major flaws in that theory. Flaw number one, of course, is that the amount of money Wizards of the Coast made during the pandemic is going to nowhere equal the amount of money Wizards of the Coast is making post-pandemic. If anything, the numbers are going to go down. The amount of money they made will be back to around their 2015, 2018 money, which is not as much as what they made between 2020 and 2021. Yeah, so, and of course, number two is the fact that Hasbro owns the name Dungeons and Dragons. Hasbro bought Wizards of the Coast. Hasbro controls all those IPs. So if Wizards of the Coast broke off and made its own company that was separate from Hasbro, could they still call it Dungeons and Dragons? Or would Hasbro say, yeah, no, because we still want to market the figures and the cartoons and the action toys and the stuffed animals, so we're going to keep the name Dungeons and Dragons. I don't know how that works. Wizards of the Coast might be able to keep the name, or Hasbro will be like, nope, we bought you, we own the name, you can go and do whatever you want, we still own the name. Yeah, who knows? I'd be more, from a business point of view, I'd be like, okay, what's the projection 5 years from now that, that influx of money is dwindling because people are outside again and the world's become more expensive to live in, $400 for a figure. The world's become more expensive to live in. So yeah, I don't know. I'd wait and see what kind of money Wizards of the Coast is making a year from now before you try and break them off, because I don't think it's going to be the same as what they're making now. That was exhausting. That was 20 minutes of me talking about stuff and nonsense. I appreciate that you have stuck around this long to hear me talk about stuff and nonsense. If you appreciate it, let me know by hitting a thumbs up and commenting down below. If you don't appreciate this product and think I should maybe, change things or stop talking about the news, or I don't know, get in more fights with people online, let me know. If you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. Help me reach 1,000 subs by August 4th, and we'll do something crazy like, I don't know, go swimming or get a tattoo, shave my head, buy a house. Who knows? We won't know until I hit 1,000 subs. Till next time, I have been your guide to all the tabletop role-playing game, the news, weather, sports, and general internet nonsense. I just realized I sound extremely stuffed up and nasally, so I apologize. Stay tuned for the next episode where I talk about more stuff. Till then, get off my land, you damn kids with your damn longsword!